As I stood over my sink, hand-washing dishes with pruning fingers, I was reminded of how elated I was on the night of my engagement. Don't read too much into it. My mind wanders, and I take my ring off to complete this task. That should be enough of a connection. Last night, we sat in our living room, wishing our fireplace was in working order, discussing the meaning of life. We differentiated between the purpose of our own existence and the reason we as human beings walk this earth. We swapped theological and scientific theories, each of my anecdotes peppered with mythological cameos. It struck me how lonely our existence is here on Earth. We live in a vast solar system of 7 other planets, and yet we are the only inhabitants basking in our sun's warm rays. We talked about death, and whether or not there was a single person out there who hadn't imagined their own grave at some point or another. We talked about these big questions and how overwhelming they are and had been to us as young adults. I admitted, bashful and ashamed, that at 18 I stood on the brink of chaos and was overwhelmed with fear. My values had nihilistic undertones, and at every corner I thought to myself, there is no point. What I didn't know then, and feel I have a better grasp on now, is that there is no point. Indeed. But this is a half-finished thought. Its conclusion is, you have to make your own. As I removed my engagement ring and began to let my thoughts wander, I was struck by the elation I felt on the night of my engagement. Family and friends were all around me, and I recited the story of my fiancé's proposal over and over and over again. What I realized is that I was looking out into chaos. An unknown future, a new chapter, the very brink of a foreign state of adulthood. And I was happy. I was ecstatic. I did not look out into the chasm with fear, recoiling at the thought of unanswered questions. Instead, I smiled and cheered and laughed and cried. I relished in the big, bad unknown. I welcomed it with open arms.